Through our path into the 21st century, we humans are hallucinating with the idea that our inventions and machinery are a sound substitute for the life-giving, self-rejuvenating, self-sustaining beats of nature. This hallucination has reached the level of insanity, resulting in utter disregard and callousness towards nature. This ever-increasing human population, with it the urbanization, is slaughtering forests, with it the habitats of countless species on the altars of human pleasure and comfort. Wielding our lifestyle as machetes, we are on a massacre. This is a sure path to self-annihilation. Awakened to the situation, many grassroots organizations are fervently striving to protect scraps of forest still standing. WCG Wildlife Conservation Group is one such organization which is enlisting student stewardship for nature through various activities in schools around Bannerughatta National Forest. Here are some of the activities conducted by WCG during 2015. A wildlife photo exhibition was held in Unasanahalli. Assistant Forest Ranger of Bannerughatta National Forest, Mr. Cholarajappa, was the chief guest. He brought to focus the clash between elephants and humans due to uninhibited urbanization around the forest. Students from 6 government schools in the area were the targeted audiences. Volunteers from WCG enthusiastically interacted with the school students. Bird nesting and fossils were the main attractions. Painting and essay competitions were conducted simultaneously at 13 government schools on the occasion of Kannada WCG's e-zine stepping into its 6th year. Winners' work made into the e-zine. Prizes were distributed to winners at all the 13 centers. Vanity and bragging rights have become the hallmark of celebration of Ganesha festival. This has led to an explosion of huge Ganeshas made from POP, plaster of Paris, which has an extremely slow biodegradability. Added to this, the paint loaded with heavy metals are responsible for death and destruction of aquatic life. Sensitive to the conservation of natural water bodies, WCG has been leading by example through its eco-friendly Ganesha celebration. As part of the celebration, attempts to educate kids on the ill effects of POP were taken up. Kids were encouraged to make eco-friendly Ganeshas. Village youth joined hands in creating avenues for expression of talents within the community. Ganesha was modeled by Shivamada, a local lad. Simple village art by Yellappa of Shiva Arts provided a pleasant embellishment. Events like lemon and spoon race, rangoli competition and pinata were held for village ladies and children. We at WCG took every possible precaution to avoid polluting the local water bodies. But as irony would have it, ponds in the surrounding villages have fallen prey to land mafia and have dried up, so our village pond became the destination for immersion of toxic colorful Ganesha idols from the surrounding villages. We are glad to share some of the discoveries we found encouraging during the documentation of fauna and flora in and around Bannerughatta National Forest. Of the 70 species of spiders that were documented, stick spider, dung spider, and flying spiders have been spotted in this area for the first time. We have to educate ourselves better in entomology to be able to precisely identify the insect varieties. 10 species of frogs considered rare for this region also caught our attention. Guntur frog is one such example. Along with 4 newcomers to the region, we got to see the cat-eyed yellow-bellied snake, which is considered a new snake species. Elephants, bison, deers were also seen. Bush baby and panthers, which were considered locally extinct, have made their appearance again.
Over the past couple of years, we students have slacked in our commitment toward hobby gardening and farming. Much of it was due to laxity in personal responsibility in a shared environment due to lack of motivation in the absence of supervision, both of which are against self-improvement. So this year, we decided to take a step back and change the paradigm a bit. We tried out to take up gardening where we were invested, in our backyards and in our fields. Since we spent much of our vacation in Bangalore, our gardening experiments and preparation started there. We made individual greenhouses from used plastic bottles. 0 rupees was the price tag for these experiments. No adhesive or sticky tapes were used. The plants were watered once a fortnight. The results were impressive. Most of the plants that were started in these individual greenhouses eventually made their way into our backyards and fields. Zenna, sunflower, capsicum and other flowering plants were started. But it was Zenna and the sunflower that stole the show. The disc of the sunflowers were as big as a dinner plate. The air around these plants were abuzz with bees and birds. These pictures do not indicate the true glory of our garden. They were taken at the end of the season. There sure is joy in gardening and farming. But can we motivate ourselves to invest the time and sweat the gardening demands is a question still pending. Reporting for WCG, I am Ravi.
There is no dearth of plastic waste. Ideas on plastic waste reusability have to precede the ideas of recycling. Often ideas of reusability are heavy on craft sites. Crafts lack utility and hence eventually gather dust. Also, not many boys are attracted to the ideas of crafts, mainly due to lack of patience. So this year we tried making board games from trash. To infuse the additional motivation into these projects, we decided we would design and implement them for our friends in blind community. We planned for 4 board games: Sudoku, Scrabble, Ludo and Snake and Ladder. We went to our friends in the blind community for feedback at various stages of our design and implementation. Our Sudoku design was a non-starter. Tailor frame, which the blind community is acquainted with, was better suited for Sudoku game than anything we could come up anew.
What is confusing part there? ನಿಮಗೆ ಫಸ್ಟು ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಿಂಬಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಅದು ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಅದು ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟೆಡ್. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಅದು ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನೇನೋ
ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರೇಷನ್
ಹಾಕೋಣ. ಇವಾಗ ಸಪೋಸ್ 2/4 into 5/6 ಇದ್ರೆ ಇಂಟುನೇ ಹಾಕಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್. Then again the whole divided by 5, something like this. Then I can consider this is 4/5.
Scrabble game was deemed too complex and slow due to the extensive feedback that is needed at every turn for each player.
When you are taking off, you just have to turn it up, turn it like a bottle cap.
Yes,
So
The blind player has to have a mental image of the entire board and the placement of the tiles to meaningfully execute each or her turn. Scrabble board game was implemented using bottle caps and screws but was not extended to include braille. Snake and Ladder and Ludo were easily accepted by our friends in the blind community. Vidyaka's feedback helped us a lot to streamline our project. We also got valuable feedback from our friends at Karnataka Welfare Association for the Blind. Snake and Ladder and Ludo were made from discarded oil cans and discarded wires. Braille numbers punched on plastic tiles were mounted under metal tape and glued onto the board made from oil can. We valued these projects a lot, for they gave us an opportunity to be a Braille literate and also educated us to the strengths and needs of our friends in the blind community. Hope to take up such projects in the future and also inspire others to take up such projects. Reporting for WCG, I am Anand.
Do customs and traditions bear any impact on ecology? Musician, linguist, writer, scholar, educationalist, institution builder, tribal activist, and a key figure in creation of the state of Jharkhand. Ram Dayal Munda demonstrated that customs and traditions are the formula through which ecology is sustained and it is through which nature remains vibrant and productive. Dr. Munda incessantly worked at both ends of the spectrum, the policy end and at the grassroots levels, among diverse tribal communities across the country, for them to have a voice in Delhi and to empower the people of earth, the indigenous Adivasis, to control their own destinies through preserving their land, water and forests by helping UN formulate indigenous people's rights in Geneva. The important and effective means of mobilization for him was through celebrating the dance, song, costumes, culture and tradition that has bound the Adivasis to their destiny, the ecology. Dr. Munda often leapt out of his seat from amongst the dignitaries to join the Adivasis in their dance, their brilliant costumes, their song. He danced blending with them with his long hair flying. He often remarked, dance to survive, which meant costumes, color, dance, song, and the down-to-earth lifestyle of Adivasis has to thrive for the earth to thrive, for the nature to thrive, and for the sake of humanity too. Here is an attempt to try out a page from Dr. Munda's message. These days, when lungi and dhoti in city limits, especially among youths, is considered a thing of shame, some of us students decided to get our own false prestige and inhibitions towards lungi and dhoti. We had an opportunity to spend much of our vacations in Bangalore, and we decided to wear lungi and dhoti whenever and wherever we went out. Needless to say, a bunch of teenagers wearing lungi in Bangalore attracted lot of onlookers. We travelled far and long in buses in our lungis. We were asked if we were cooks visiting Bangalore. We were considered gullible because of our outfits. It is considered cool to visit malls in shorts, but have you tried visiting a mall in lungi and peta? We did, and took on a few smirks and finger pointing. All these responses and reactions can be deemed eventless as compared to a visit to a mall a couple of years back. We went to a mall wearing towel as petas, the headgear. No sooner we entered the mall, we were rounded up by the security and taken to the mall manager. We were told that we would not be allowed in with our petas as the other customers would feel threatened. They relented only when we demanded that they give us in writing the reasons for barring us from entering the mall. This summer, a couple of middle school boys were with us and we could not find lungis in their size, and so I asked them to come along in their pants for an outing. They would have none of it. They fought, wept, and would only come out in lungis, all because we were in lungis. Unknowingly, we had become role models for these boys. This was quite heartening for us. We do not claim that we had gotten over our reluctance to being a black sheep due to our outfit, but we certainly have gotten a taste for the ignorance, vanity, and mindlessness modernity breed. We sure shall continue our social experiments again. Meanwhile, have you visited a mall in dhoti and peta? Reporting for WCG, I am Manoj Kumar.